Hello everyone, this is Ketish here. In this video, I'm going to go through the AQA Chemistry Paper 1 Higher Tier from 2022. Question number 6 is on the topic of chemical changes, mainly about the electrolysis of ionic compounds. This question is about electrolysis. Molten sodium chloride is electrolyzed in an industrial process to produce sodium. Now, electrolyzed is basically, or the process of electrolysis is to break down compounds, ionic compounds using electricity. Lysis means to break down, electro means to use electricity. So figure 1 shows a simplified version of the electrolysis cell used. So you've got molten sodium chloride. Remember, sodium chloride is NaCl. And because it's molten, you haven't got anything else. So it's just sodium chloride. You've got chlorine gas, which is being produced on the positive electrode. So that's Cl2 gas. And molten sodium is a metal. So you've got sodium, which is Na, that is being produced there. Now here, what is that? These bubbles are the chlorine gas. So you've got molten sodium chloride will have Na plus and Cl minus ions. Right, when it's molten, it breaks down into Na plus and Cl minus ions. Now the Na plus ions will be attracted to the negative electrode, and the Cl minus will be attracted to the positive electrode. Which is the correct half equation for the production of sodium chloride? Sorry, sodium. So if you're trying to produce sodium, which is a metal, so it has to be Na. Now it starts off as Na plus. So Na plus, and you will need that electron to produce sodium. So that would be the third option. A mesh is used to keep the products of the electrolysis apart. Suggest one reason why the products of the electrolysis must be kept apart. Now the products of the electrolysis is sodium and chlorine. Now both are reactive. So although you manage to break it, what will happen is if you leave it, it'll just simply recombine when it's away from the electrode. So the answer is, so the products do not react to reform sodium chloride. Which type of particle passes through the mesh in the electrolysis of molten sodium chloride? Now the particles that is involved is the Na plus ions and the Cl minus ions. So the answer is ion. Aqueous sodium chloride is electrolyzed in a different industrial process. So aqueous sodium chloride means that sodium chloride in water, right? It's basically salt water. So that would contain water as well. So H2O plus the sodium chloride, which is dissolved. Which two ions are present in aqueous sodium chloride solution in addition to the sodium ions and the chloride ions? Actually, that's your answer for the question above, isn't it? Right? It's ions here. So now water, H2O, will actually break into H plus ions and OH minus ions. So it will be H plus ions and OH minus ions. Now you can actually say hydrogen ions or hydroxide ions, but if you're writing the symbols, you need to make sure the positive and the negative sign is not below or in the middle. It should be above. Name the alkaline solution produced. So what is the alkaline solution produced? If it's an alkaline solution, it should be a hydroxide. So the hydroxide should be sodium hydroxide. Explain how the alkaline solution is produced. How is the sodium hydroxide produced? You should refer to the process at the electrodes. What is actually happening at the electrodes? Now, for sodium hydroxide to be produced, you will need sodium ion and the OH minus ion to react. So now these two are not actually reacting at the electrodes. At the electrodes, something else is happening. So at the positive electrode, so actually let me bring a diagram to explain this, because students often actually struggle with electrolysis question. Let me make it slightly bigger. So here you have the concentrated brine solution, which is the sodium hydroxide salt solution, and at the positive electrode, which we call the anode, the Na plus ion, the Cl minus and the OH minus ions let me rephrase that. So the Cl minus ions at the anode will form chlorine gas, which is given out here. At the cathode, the negative electrode, H plus ions are going to react together to form the hydrogen gas, which leaves this sodium and the hydroxide ion. Now, permeable membrane keeps gases separate but not the ions separate. So sodium and the OH minus ions will actually remain. So dilute sodium hydroxide solution and dilute brine is actually filtered onto this side. So the reactions that take place at the anode and the cathode reaction is given here. The question is asking, let me reduce that. Explain how the alkaline solution is produced. So your answer, sodium ions and hydroxide ions are left in the solution because hydrogen ions are discharged at the negative electrode to form hydrogen, and chloride ions, not chlorine ions, remember, chloride ions are discharged or oxidized at the positive electrode to form chlorine. Slightly big. That brings us to the end of question number 6, and I will see you in the next question, number 7.